Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Premier League. Have you missed the Premier League? Well, we're back. The Commentary Hub and JB Sports and JDAC Sports and the Commentary Hub too, and Storm FM YouTube channel are live with a real London derby to start with tonight. We've got Brentford against Arsenal. Mike Harneman will be your commentator in a few moments. I've got Russ Vernon, who's going to be helping out on co-coms with Mike a little later on. We've got Russ with us. Russ, Brentford in the top flight for the first time in 73 years, and they couldn't have picked a better side to come to the community stadium at Brentford. And what an occasion it's promising to be.
Yes, it's going to be a fantastic game, this one. JB Brentford will be looking to get off to a positive start in a London derby against Arsenal. Arsenal without Joe Willock, who left to join Newcastle earlier on today, so wonder how big a miss he will be for the Gunners. Spent last season on loan in Newcastle as well, did Joe Willock. Fantastic game ahead in prospect tonight, and I'm looking forward to this one, JB. Should be a cracker to start off the Premier League season.
Absolutely. I'm seeing there with Brentford, red and white scarves. They got into the Premier League for the first time in 73 years of the top flight. They won the playoffs last season and went up alongside Norwich and Watford, who filled the top two berths. And the atmosphere is superb. We've got Arsenal fans in the ground. There's a carnival atmosphere at the community stadium. I nearly said Griffin Park, but it's a magnificent achievement for these guys, these supporters who have been from the mill with Brentford over the years. They've been perennial Championship Premier League contenders. Now they're there. Are they going to make the most of it, Russ, very quickly?
I don't think so, JB. I've gone in my predictions. If anyone missed it last night, I end up getting relegated this season. I think they're probably going to finish bottom, and I think it's going to be a tough season for them. But if they are to survive this season, it'll be the home form which could give them that lift to stay in the division for me, JB.
All right, thank you, Russ. You go and join Mike alongside him in the commentary box, and let us hand over to our match commentators then for the big one. The first game of 380. We'll have quite a lot of them live for you on the hub this season. Don't forget, our streaming partner is Melon. And of course, we're live across all YouTube platforms on Periscope, Twitch, and Twitter. So let me hand over to your big match commentators for the first match of the new Premier League season, Brentford against Arsenal, Russ Vernon. And first of all, a very good evening to Mike Harneman.
Good evening, JB. Good evening, Russ, as well. So I'll run you through the two lineup first of all. And I'll start with the visitors, the Gunners, of course. And they've got Bernd Leno in goal. Back four of Callum Chambers, new signing Ben White, of course, signed from Brighton, alongside Pablo Marie. And then the Scotsman Kieran Tierney filling up the back four with the left-back role. And Sambi Lokonga and Granit Xhaka, who's captain in the side in the absence of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang today. He's out ill alongside Alex Lacazette as well. And that means that Flo Balogun starts up front. The midfield is Pepe, Smith Rowe and Martinelli just off of him. The Brentford side is David Raya, been strongly linked with Arsenal over recent years. Christopher Aya is the new signing from Celtic, cost £14 million. Pontus Jansson, the captain, Ethan Pinnock, Rico Henry. Then there's Janelt and Onyeka, and Bremo, Norgard, Canos, and then of course Ivan Toney, top goal scorer, I believe, in the Championship, leading the line for Brentford. The subs are for Arsenal: Bellerin, Saka, Maitland-Niles, Holding, Cedric, Tavares, Nelson, El Neni, and Hine. And then in regards to Brentford's bench, it's Good, Force, Visa, the new signing, Gunnarsson, Godos, Devoglu, Bidstrup, Beck Sorensen and Rosa Lev, who make up the Brentford bench, with, of course, Thomas Frank in charge of them. He was just geeing up the crowd just a moment ago, trying to get everybody off of their seats as well before the big kick-off. And, of course, Nico Arteta in charge of Arsenal, the Spaniard as well. And just quickly jump into the officials for you, if you give me 30 seconds as well. But before I do that, in fact, we've got the last meeting between the sides was actually back in 2018, which was a League Cup tie. Arsenal won 3-1 that day. Alan Judge got the goal for Brentford, and Arsenal's goals were Alex Lacazette and a brace from Danny Welbeck. I'll go through the officials in a moment. That's the two sides. I've just taken the knee now, but before I get the officials and everything to you, I'll hand over to Russ for a second as well. Arsenal without the two talismen in Aubameyang and Alex Lacazette. What do you reckon? Big miss?
With Aubameyang, Mike, I think that is a really big miss for Arsenal. I think he's normally good in front of goal on opening day of the season, but we'll have to wait and see about Lacazette, my friend.
Okay, and it's we're underway now, and it's with Arsenal, and it's actually Kieran Tierney in possession at the moment, and it's gone towards Martinelli, and it's gone out of play for a Brentford goal kick. And what do you make of obviously these two lineups as well? You know, we touched on it just a moment ago with Aubameyang out. In fact, it's a corner, so I'll throw that question to you after the corner. In fact, it's going to be taken. Now there's a couple up from the back, of course, Ben White, Pablo Marie and Callum Chambers there. Granit Xhaka on the edge of the box as well. So there's Pepe to Smith Rowe. Back to Pepe now. And on it goes to Sambi Lokonga, one of Arsenal's new signings, of course. And then back to Kieran Tierney now. Had a really good tournament at the Euros for Scotland. And it's whipped in by Pablo Marie to Nicola Pepe now. And he's trying to dance around the defender. He has to go back, though, to Kieran Tierney. And Tierney's shot straight down the nose of goalkeeper David Raya. And what do you make of these lineups? Of course, you know, the main talking points are who's missing for Arsenal, but, you know, Thomas Partey's obviously out for a couple of weeks as well. So Sambi Lokonga gets a run at midfield alongside Granit Xhaka. What do you make to that with Ben White and Pablo Marie, the two chosen centre-back partners?
Yes, well, looking at the midfield for Arsenal tonight in Xhaka and Sambi Lokonga, I think if Thomas Partey was available, Mike, I think he would have probably come in for Granit Xhaka. For me, I don't think he has a future. And I think the only reason he's captain tonight is because of the absence of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And if you look at the three behind the striker of Balogun with Pepe, Smith Rowe in the middle, and Martinelli either side of Smith Rowe tonight, I think that could be. Then Balogun from that front four could really cause Brentford quite a few problems. But if you flip it on the head and look at the Brentford side, Mike, and Brandon Buemo, Tony, Emery, who can get forward as well from the back, can cause Arsenal quite a few problems themselves, especially Ivan Toney. Off again, I think he was the Championship top scorer last season overall, Ivan Toney, and I think that could be if Brentford ought to do well, they'll need to keep him fit for me this season.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. And it is with Brentford at the moment now, just playing it along at the back, and it's now with the right back Aya, of course, signed from Celtic, and he's giving it away though. So it's now with Balogun there, and it's gone back to Xhaka, and now Smith Rowe's getting involved as well. And the referee there has given a free kick to Arsenal. Referee Mike Dean, of course, as well. Has just given the free kick there on Smith Rowe, and that was from the number 6 there, which is Nilgard, who's going to get away without a booking as well. And free kick here for Arsenal now. It's going to be taken quickly. There's Sambi onto Kieran Tierney. And he's just lost out there to Aya, and now it's with, I think that's Mbuemo. It's into midfield now for, I think that's Granit Xhaka for Arsenal, which he's going to just knock it back to Pablo Marie, and he's going to just go alongside to Ben White, and Ben White's going to hook it long, and it's tidied up by Ethan Pinnock there, just hook clear and away from danger for a throw on as Granit Xhaka, the man who's captain in Arsenal, has already been mentioned tonight, is very vocal there in his applause towards his teammate. And big night for Granit Xhaka, isn't it, as well? The fact that he's got the armband back on after, you know, what happened a number of years ago, and, you know, a lot of speculation surrounding his future as well this summer.
It is, mate, yes, and so a lot of people thought he might have been leaving and going to Roma this summer. Obviously, he's sticking around for now anyway. That move could still materialise between now and the end of August. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of night he has. And see if he lets the armband and the captaincy affect him, or whether it doesn't really affect him at all, to be honest.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. And of course, this David Ray is going to take this goal kick now as Arsenal just tried to play it down the line and it's gone out of play for what's gone out to be a goal kick. Sorry, and it's now down the line. Brentford have a throw on. It's going to be, I think it's Ethan Pinnock going over to take that now. And he looks like he's going to take this one to throw it short, which he does to, I think that was not. I don't know who that was, in fact, I couldn't quite see. The numbers on the back of Brentford shirts are not the easiest to spot, to be honest. But it's with Arsenal right now, and in fact, it's with Ben White, and it's gone out for an Arsenal throw in there. Callum Chambers just let it go behind, and we've had 5 minutes and 25 seconds of this game so far, which you want to sync up with us as well, so you're level with our, our own commentary. It still remains Brentford 0, Arsenal 0 as well, and it's been an interesting start. Not any sort of real clear-cut chances as the ball towards Balogun just goes through to David Raya, but Brentford, you've got to be quite pleased with the opening 6 minutes or so, haven't they? Really?
They have, Mike, yes, and they must remember just to keep the concentration levels for a bit longer than this and not let the edge drop, especially if Arsenal do get an early goal. And you saw a few times last season if Arsenal went behind, they used to capitulate, and that's what happened in some of the pre-season matches as well, Mike. And Arsenal needs to be wary of that if Brentford do get in front. 'Cause like I mentioned to you, I think it might have been last night on the predictions that we did earlier on, Mike. Then this place at Brentford, whether it's the Brentford Community Stadium or Griffin Park, where they used to play, used to be, is an odd place for teams to go, Mike, and he could be proving it once again this season.
Absolutely, and of course, I know anyone that's eagle-eyed has probably spotted already that I've mentioned the referee as Mike Dean. In fact, it is Michael Oliver. Mike Dean's on 4th official duty today. Stuart Burt and Simon Bennett assisting, and then we've got Chris Kavanagh on VAR with Sean Massey-Ellis, his assistant as well. There's Pablo Marie there, who's just caught out in possession, and it's gone behind for a Brentford throw in there. And I think Bernardo was a little bit of fault maybe there as well for that. That's an Arsenal throw with Kieran Tierney over it. And yes, Mike, 6-7 Donch, it can be very difficult, but we do our best. As Arsenal have a throw on here now. And it's Granit Xhaka just leaving it for Kieran Tierney. And it's going to be Frank Onyeka just focusing on there as well. Signed for Brentford from Midtjylland for the total, I think it was 8.6 million for the Bees, and that's quite a small margin in the way of the world these days, isn't it? When you look at the likes of Messi and how much they've gone for.
It is, mate, yes, and if you compare it to likes of Jack Grealish as well, who's gone for 100 million, that is
absolutely, yeah, really
small compared to that deal as well. And just a big shout out as well, Mike, to our friend Bearded Twig. He says we'll have across
the chance just for Nicola Pepe here. There's Smith Rowe. Sorry, mate. I'll come back to you in a sec. Pepe whips it in towards Balogun, straight into the hands of David Raya there. But no, apologies for cutting you there, mate. Did look like there was something maybe materialising, but it didn't happen to come to anything in the end. Yeah.
Not a problem, Mike. But that's well. Big shout out to Bearded Twig, our friend Mike. He's put his live across there while he's playing his games, listening to our coverage of this match tonight. And I must say, Arsenal, good decent effort there, looking to cause a few problems, try and curl them into the walls of top corner. They must have seen something in the videos that could be the way to score against the Bees this evening.
Yeah, when you look at this Arsenal side as well, we've said about Aubameyang and Lacazette missing, and when you look at the bench, there's not, a real lot of talent on the bench in regards to attacking threat. Yes, there's Bukayo Saka, bar him, maybe Reece Nelson. They're not out and out strikers either, are they? So if Arsenal were to get an injury to Balogun or to Pepe or Martinelli or Your Smith Rose. And so obviously there's no Willian involved today either. So there's only those two names there on the bench that could actually come on and make a difference. And of course, Bukayo Saka would be top of that list.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And another one who you could potentially mention, Michael, could come on and play that bit further forward in, say, sort of a Smith Rowe kind of position, is Maitland Niles. He has played that bit further advanced before, although he does play out wide, so either Martinelli or Pepe. But like you say, if Pepe, Smith Rowe, Balogun, Martinelli gets injured, it's going to be a real problem for Arsenal, as if who to go, who they'd have all up from. Will they go? Could they say if Balogun has to go off? Could they put Martinelli
There's
up
just a
front?
chance here for Brentford. Rico Henry's playing it down the line to some Bueno back to Rico Henry. Now going to try and get the cross in. It's gone up into the air, and that's Ivan Toney, I believe, isn't it? Who's just headed that one over the top of Bert Leno's goal. And Brentford causing Arsenal a few problems down that right-hand flank there for a moment.
The way, yes, good bit of play from Rico Henry. That's what Rico Henry can do, man. You saw it a lot in the Championship last season, in the past few seasons as well. Gets on the overlap.
With the effort, yeah.
And just causes a few problems there in the end. Onyeka just heading over, decent effort from the man there. So, fantastic stuff so far.
And we've very open game so far as well. Very sort of, there's Ivan Toney now on for this one for Brentford. Going to have a shot at goal. Does that hit the woodwork, I believe, from, is that Brainwell with it? I'm not too sure, but it's certainly looked like it might have caught the outside of the woodwork. Let's have a look here now. It's Pablo Marie in the end, and then Onyeka wins it there. I think it was Ivan Toney knocks it on to, I think that was it to Ivan Toney from Mbuemo. Either way, let's have a look. Yeah,
Came from Tony onto Mbuemo, Mike, and Brian Mbuemo very unlucky not to
it did look like it hit
the top corner there. I thought I was going in the top corner for a second.
Yeah, it did look like it hit the outside of the post as well, and but Leno obviously has got to be careful. And if he was to get injured, Arsenal have only got the young goalkeeper Jakob Hein on the bench as well, who played a few times in pre-season, but of course Arsenal still in the market for a goalkeeper with Aaron Ramsdale, a name that's been mentioned a lot recently for a 30 million fee, which for a goalkeeper is quite a hefty amount, especially when you're buying him as a number two rather than the first choice as well. But at the moment, there's no runners in this one either. Okonkwo, the other goalkeeper, is not in the squad today. So it's Jakob Hein who's on the bench for if Bert Leno was to get injured, which is another massive worry for Arsenal as well. If he's to get injured, then you're only bringing on somebody that's very, very young and inexperienced.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. It'd be very interesting to see what Arsenal would do, and whether if an injury to Leno would force Arsenal into the market even more, trying more so to step up their offer and trying to come to an agreement with Sheffield United for Aaron Ramsdale.
And they're just showing a couple of the managers there. That's Dean Smith, who was obviously manager of Brentford for a while. He's now at Aston Villa. I think he's keeping a close eye on this game. Of course, they're fairly local to London with their fixture tomorrow. They go to Vicarage Road against Watford. So obviously he's gone and done a little bit of scouting over there for this game and keeping an eye on these teams. Here's Smith Rowe now for Arsenal. 1-2 Balogun. Balogun, it goes off of the Brentford man, which Pontus Jansson, the captain, and behind for a Arsenal corner. Good little bit of play that from Arsenal. Good move from Smith Rowe, and then Balogun involved as well, and trying to get it back to Smith Rowe, the new Arsenal number 10, but it's gone behind for a set piece, and it's going to be taken by Nicola Pepe now, right in front of the official there, and got Balogun, Ben White coming up from the back, of course, as well. Granit Xhaka in there, Callum Chambers in there, and it's Pepe whips it in, and it's good fist away there from David Raya to Emile Smith Rowe once again. And now it's with Tierney to Granit Xhaka, and he knocks it on to Callum Chambers now, and then it's back with Granit Xhaka once more, and then he plays it back all the way through to Pablo Marie, and knocks it on to Kieran Tierney. And JB mentioned in the pre-show that, of course, it's Brentford's first time in 74 years in the Premier League, and in fact, they're actually the 50th separate side to be in the Premier League as well, with Norwich and Watford both being in the Premier League in the past and coming down and now going back up again. Brentford being a newly promoted side since the Premier League was renamed, obviously, as the Premier League rather than the old First Division, etc. And that's quite big, isn't it? 50 different sides in the Premier League. That's quite a big stat, as Lokonga's going to just try and get the ball to Xhaka there. It's good feat, actually, from the new signing for Arsenal as well. And Kieran Tierney back to Lokonga. And going back to what I was saying there, Russ, 50 sides in the Premier League. That's quite big, isn't it? It's quite a lot.
It is, Mike, yes. And to consider how many teams have been in the Premier League and been relegated, most recently Sheffield United, Fulham, West Brom, most recently went down, and a few others as well.
And if you go back years, of course, you've got the likes of Derby, Forest, Barnsley,
Barnsley, Portsmouth have been up there before as well.
Absolutely,
Sunderland as well. Wigan, who's now down in League One.
Chance for Arsenal. Kieran Tierney is over to. Who was that? That was Callum Chambers. I think it's blocked from Brentford, but there's been loads of different sides, isn't there? Of course, Brentford without in League One for a while, and Coventry, Portsmouth, all sides that have Swansea as well, Derby. There's loads and loads of different sides that have been in the Premier League for multiple times, and it's great to have another new face and a new name in the league as well, with Brentford now making up the 50th side, and for them to come up to the division. They played some good football last season, and I thought were deserving winners of the playoffs with that 2-0 win over Swansea as well in the final. As Arsenal have it here with Kieran Tierney now from Xhaka, and Tierney whips it in towards Pepe, and it's gone through to Callum Chambers, I think that was, and he just skies it, but the referee, Michael Oliver, I think he's pointed out for a handball anyway, so it's going to be a free kick, I believe, to Brentford. But yeah, some big sides that have been in the Premier League as well, and in fact, there's been big sides that have dropped out of it in years gone by, like Newcastle, of course, who Joe Willock signed for earlier this afternoon.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And then going back to that chance there, cross came in, which Chambers fired over. You could clearly see the ball striking the arm of Nicola Pepe there as well. And you may have spotted on the TV if you've been watching it with us, like myself and Mike spotted him in the crowd as well. Dean Smith, the former Brentford man, his Aston Villa side is at home to the Bees on week number 3, so in a couple of weekends' time, that's when the Bees travel to Villa Park. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why Dean Smith is there tonight.
Bit of scouting mission, yeah, absolutely. Of course, Arsenal have got some hard fixtures as well. I think, I believe it's Chelsea next for the Gunners, which is a very difficult tie, and I think Man City's coming up as well in the near future. So lots of difficult games for Arsenal. But yeah, with the fact that it's worked out nicely for Dean Smith, his Villa side at Watford, of course, in Hertfordshire for their opening game tomorrow. So to have that game just down the road, it's not too much extra travel for them, so it's a good time to go and scout some opposition, which is we'll see that a lot throughout the season, and we'll obviously see England manager Gareth Southgate in attendance quite a lot throughout the season as well. I don't know whether he's at this game. In fact, he probably is.
Yes, absolutely, Mikey. It is indeed, May. You're actually spot on with what you're saying there.
And it's a chance here for Brentford now. It's gone behind for a throw though, as Mikel Arteta puts his hands up there and just starts applauding his side's defender. It was who was that? That was it was Aya. Yeah, it was the Norwegian that was signed from Celtic, of course, as I mentioned earlier. Going to throw it down the line now. There's a header there from the Arsenal midfield. Back with Aya again. On Yeka. Now it's with Brentford here, and it's Mbeumo is that. It's given to the Arsenal man. That was a bit poor there in terms of getting the cross away, the delivery, but Arsenal have only just hooked it clear, no one up the field really, and back with Brentford again, and Conte just knocks it back to his goalkeeper, who goes long and straight through to Kieran Tierney, and he just goes back to his goalkeeper, the German Bernd Leno. And bit of a flat sort of passage of game at the moment, isn't it, Russ? It's not really, in the last couple of minutes, it's kind of turned a little bit flat in terms of chances.
Yes, no real chances at the moment since our last chance from Brian and Buemo. That's the closest I would say Brentford have come. Arsenal yet to really test David Raya in the Bees goal, and I think in the opening 20 minutes or so, the Thomas Frank and Brentford would be happier of the two managers.
Indeed, they just won a corner here as well now, and it's going to be taken over on the right-hand side. There's a man down for Brentford as well. Michael Oliver's just going over to check on him to make sure that everything's all okay and that he's not got to get the treatment on, get the physio on, I should say. He's up to his feet straight away though, so that's good to see. No messing about, and Brentford are able to just take this corner relatively quickly. They will be able to now, as everyone seems to be up there for Brentford, and in fact Arsenal got everybody back as well. I think the only one that's not in that half is the goalkeeper David Raya. I think everyone else is in that half of the field, and it's going to be taken by, I think that's the Canos now for Brentford, I believe, taking this corner. It's whipped in, it's headed clear by Pablo Marie, and put back to David Raya now by Onyeka. David Raya is going to take a couple of touches. He's got no Arsenal mans around him, and he just goes long and headed on there towards Mbeumo. There's a chance here. There's a bit of a dodgy moment there for the Arsenal back line, and still with Brentford now. It's going to be an effort to goal, and it's into the back of the net. Brentford have taken the lead, and it is, who's this now, the goal scorer? Let's just see who it is now. I think it might have been, is it Norgard? No, not Norgard. Who was it? Is it? Can't quite see who it was, but it was a great finish anyway from the Brentford man. And it's all the way from a long ball from the goalkeeper there, headed on by, I think that's Mbeumo headed it on. I think Arsenal struggled to get it clear. And just want to have a look who it was now. Coming in from this left-hand side, I think it might have been Canos, was it, with a goal? Let's have a look here now. It was hooked clear. It was Sergi Canos.
Yeah, Sergi Canos, Mike, yeah. Superb goal. Chambers didn't get it fully clear, came back towards him. Chambers, wisely opening his legs there and letting him shoot between his legs. And if he kept his legs closed and had his shot block, he would have been able to block the shot there. But Mike, as I mentioned to you, once Brentford take lead, it's very hard for teams to come from to get something out of games, especially when Brentford take the lead, whether it's Griffin Park or here, or Brentford are in the lead, deservedly so as well, being the better side since the last few going into the last few minutes of the game, and they fully deserve the lead, Mike. 1-0 Brentford.
Yeah, and you've got to question the goalkeeper Bernd Leno as well, getting beaten at his near post like that. I think Mikel Arteta is going to be absolutely furious at that one.
Yes, Mike, and absolutely furious in that one. In Brentford, with that early goal, and I did say that I put them at the bottom of the table in my predictions. If you
at the moment, they're currently sitting top.
On the podcast, that's at the moment, as you mentioned, they're currently sitting top. Arsenal are the team sitting in bottom, so it could be a very long night for the Gunners.
And it's given away now as well, and Brentford are looking to attack straight away. Yet again, we're trying to feed Mbeumo now, and it's all the way back to Bernd Leno from Pablo Maria, I think that was. And Arsenal really have to, regroup now and get their act together, get their heads together. As Smith Rowe knocks it back to Pablo Marie, and then as we said before, they've got to do it with what's on the field really as well. So Mikel Arteta, it's probably ruined the fact that he's got a couple of players out injured and with illness and unavailable to him. And of course, he might even be ruined the fact that he sold Joe Willock a couple of hours ago to Newcastle as well. The fact that he's an attacking threat for the Gunners and somebody that Arsenal might have been able to deal with tonight off the bench.
Yes, Mike, absolutely. And since that goal, Arsenal, it seems to have shocked Arsenal. The crowd getting behind the team as well, getting behind the Bees in a very good start. And Sergio Canos, Spanish, former Spanish, I think he was under 21 international as well. Sergio Canos, and a first Premier League goal for him, first ever Premier League goal for him as well. I don't think he's featured in the Premier League before, but Arsenal now, if they are to get anything out of this, have to come from behind, which some of the times in last season, they didn't really do that well of Mike, as you, being an Arsenal fan, will remember.
Yeah, they're just showing here now in regards to this Brentford goal whether the ball had gone out of play, I think, and the whole ball there is. It's hard to call really. I want to see this. Is it because he was out of play? I don't know. Were they expecting to be defending a corner? The Arsenal back line there. But for me, it's very difficult to call. But obviously, with VAR, I did look at VAR, and the VAR officials did look at it and deemed that the ball hadn't completely gone out of play. And you can't argue with that. Obviously, they do their bit and they try and get the decision the best they can. If it's not clear and obvious, of course, as well, they can't be doing anything to go against the referee's decision either, can they? But what do you make of that? When I saw it there, it's hard to call.
Yes, Mike, it is hard to call. And in fact, I actually just paused it just to have a quick look on one of the monitors I've got in front of me as well. And you can't really say whether it's out or not because Chambers is swinging his leg round to clear, and it does bounce. And
Yeah.
from where his standing foot is, it does look it's out, but you can't really tell. And I think with the double post in the way, you can't really tell that it was if he's out or not. The lineman can't really tell, so he's got to play on. The referee didn't really have a clear angle either, so
No.
you've just got to play on and just play to the whistle. And that's what Brentford did and Arsenal failed to do. And that's why Brentford are in the lead, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, it's not clear and obvious either. So VAR can't really get involved as Ben White just smashes one out for a Brentford throw on, and the throw in, sorry, and they're just padding in on some of the Arsenal supporters now, and Mikel Arteta as well. And it was a very difficult season for Arsenal last season, of course, finishing outside of Europe, didn't make the Europa League, didn't make the Europa Conference either, and finished 8th for the second season in a row under Mikel Arteta, who's still demonstrating with the fourth official Mike Dean in regards to what happened there for the Brentford goal. It's a long night for Arsenal, and it could be another long season, couldn't it? As well, I know we're only into 28 minutes into it, but to go to Brentford, and if Arsenal are to lose this game today, as Brentford just have an effort there over the top of the goal from I think there's Norgard as well, and it's gone sort of away from danger there. But if Arsenal were to lose this game against the newly promoted side, it's even without Aubameyang, Lacazette, Willian, Thomas Partey, there's still enough quality about this Arsenal side, still plenty of internationals. So Arsenal really, have to be looking at picking up 3 points here. But the way that things have started, it could be a long evening as the Brentford fans are up to their feet as well to applaud a former player, or is that a fan there? And it says remembering Robert. I think it might be an assistant maybe. So since he's there with Thomas Frank anyway, maybe it was a fan. I can't quite see. Even the Brentford manager's getting involved as well there. I'm sure JB will let us know what that's in regards to, but it's still a lovely touch there as you see every Brentford fan to their feet and applauding there, which is a nice touch.
It is a nice touch, Mike, yes. And I think, Mike, that the Arsenal fans are also at the ground are also joining, will be also joining, and the Arsenal fans were going to join in with this applause as well. I think it might be a former assistant, or it might be a fan who managed to get there one day during last season before COVID hit to the training ground to meet the players and the coaching staff, and that's why. And they've done it on this game when fans were allowed back in the stadium. I think that's why they're doing that. I think it's for a fact. former Brentford fan. And one of the Brentford
I'll,
fans who passed away, I think. But I'm not 100% sure
I'll,
about that. I'll try and
I'll,
find out.
yeah, I was going to try and have a look as well, what it was regards to. But as I said before, it was a lovely touch there. With Brentford are in now as well for a run at goal, and it's Mbuemo. It's still going as well. He's going to get a shot away, and he's fired it wide of the goal there. Kind of just miscued his effort there, dragged it wide of the goal. But again, that's quite poor defending from Arsenal, and Mbuemo there. You know, he was just dancing through. He danced past Pablo Marie. Ben White couldn't do anything either. Granit Xhaka was in there. You know, I think he took it round Ben White there and just dragged it wide of the goal. But he was having free reign there. He was all over that Arsenal back line.
Yes, and a lot of people are saying Ben White will make this Arsenal back line a lot stronger and a lot better. But when you've got the likes of Pablo Mori, Callum Chambers in
There's a
that
chance
back
for
line as
Arsenal.
well.
It's Balogun. Oh, it's gone behind there for a goal kick. Has it gone behind for a goal kick or has it gone behind for a corner? It was Kieran Tierney into Balogun. Balogun tries to swivel and get a shot away.
Yeah, for a goal kick, Mike has gone for.
It was the Brentford man there. I think it was Pinnock involved, not Pinnock, sorry, it was actually Rico Henry, sorry. And it's come off of him and then come back off of Balogun and behind for a goal kick. But that's good defending, isn't it, from the Brentford left back?
It is, Mike, yes, and I think, and also it was a fantastic bit of play before that from Brentford trying to cause a few more problems down at the other end. So I'm going to try and find out what's happened, why they applauded and who it was for you, Mike, and I'll let you know in the next breaking play.
Okay, Brentford are back up on the ascendancy again now. It's Ivan Toney trying to find the on-running. I think that's Onyeka, sorry, Janab, sorry. He's gone back to Pinnock now, and now Sergi Canos, the goal scorer. And he goes back to Pontus Jansson, and he's going to knock it on to Christopher Aya over on the right-hand side. And he goes on to Canos into Mbuemo. There's Onyeka now. Christopher Aya. Brentford just happy to pass it around at the moment. Yes, Canos again. Yeah, swap sides now as well. So to add to a little bit more confusion for me. In fact, I can't really see the numbers on the back of their shirts too much anyway, but now they're swapping sides as well, so thanks for that. But no, it's with Brentford at the moment, just comfortably playing it around at the back. One shot on target each. Brentford have had 5 to Arsenal's 3 overall, and of course the stat that matters is the one in the top corner as well of the screens that says Brentford 1, Arsenal 0, and that was of course scored by Sergi Canos, the Spaniard, and it's Brentford still happy just to pass it around at the moment, and you know, sort of just saying to Arsenal, if you're good enough, come and try and break us down, come and try and get the ball off us, and try and see what see what we're about defensively. Here's Martinelli now for the Gunners, trying to find Nicola Pepe. And Pepe's effort is wide of the goal there as well. David Bray didn't even have to move, in fact, off of this spot there. It was nice and easy for him just to leave that, to go behind. There's some of the board there, not the board there, sorry, some of the backroom staff there, I should say, are trying to get their instructions across to Mikel Arteta. Some are really not happy, in fact, as well, shaking their heads there about that move there from Arsenal and Nicolas Pepe's kind of decision to shoot, I suppose, rather than play in Balogun or whoever else it was.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And I think with that Pepe effort there, Mike, he leaned back a little bit, and that's why the shot was went wide of the target there. And with regards to that applause, which they did remember in Robert, back in 2018, Monday 12th of November 2018, Robert Rowan was the Brentford technical director, and he died at the age of 28 when he suffered a fatal cardiomyopathy episode in the early hours of that morning. He went to bed the night before and died in his sleep, and he left behind his wife, Susan, who were married in November 2016. So rest in peace, Robert, and thoughts go to your wife at this sad time as well.
Absolutely, and that's a great touch, obviously, from the fans as well. It did look like Arsenal fans were getting involved as well, and it was a lovely touch there to remember him. Of course, somebody that sadly passed away at such a very young age as well. So, yeah, all of our condolences and our thoughts go out to the family of Robert there. And so as I said, it was a lovely touch there for Brentford to mark that on their opening appearance in the Premier League for the first time, as we say, in 74 years. It's now with Ben White for Arsenal. Time from Brighton, of course. Now it's Callum Chambers. It's Granit Xhaka, the acting Arsenal captain for the day. Callum Chambers on to Ben White now. Just being played around at the moment. And it's now with Callum Chambers yet again. Arsenal just playing it around. Of course, if you do want to give us a follow, you can follow us on YouTube at the Commentary Hub, also Commentary Hub 2 as well, also on JB Sports. Of course, we're also in association with JBlack Football and Storm FM as well, and our streaming partner for the season is Melon, so give that a check over as well, give that a look into and see what all that's about. And of course, you're listening to the Commentary Hub, and it's the opening Premier League fixture of the 2021-22 campaign. And Brentford lead Arsenal by a goal to nil so far. I'm your match commentator, Mike Hindman. We've got Russ Vernon in the co-com seat as well alongside me this evening. So currently Arsenal just playing it around here with Ben White and Callum Chambers, and just a bit of 1-2 between the pair. And it's going to go back, is it, to Bernd Leno? In fact, yes, it is. And he's going to just take a couple of touches and then play it out. And in fact, that was sloppy from Arsenal again there. Poor defending yet again, something that's been seen a lot from Arsenal in recent years when they're being played out from the back. And I'm sure, probably a bit like me, there was many Arsenal fans getting a few heart palpitations right there when you see Arsenal playing it around from the back and making those sort of stupid mistakes that Arsenal have done in the last 3 years. New season, same mistakes by the looks of it.
Yes, and Mike, and it's not just like it's happened today, the mistakes. It happened some games in pre-season as well for Arsenal in some of the games I managed to see. So it's not like they've got after him in pre-season and then they've just suddenly reappeared again. They continue from their back end of last season into the pre-season, and it's continuing again today in these matches as well.
There's an effort there from Balogun, and it's a wayward effort as well. Not even testing David Raya. In fact, he wasn't even on target as he goes well wide of the goal. And as I said just a moment ago, Arsenal, really, really poor playing it around from the back there. You mentioned it just then. It's happened in pre-season. And in fact, Arsenal have been very, very poor, largely in pre-season as well. There's a couple of wins that have happened behind closed doors. But when you look at some of the fixtures that Arsenal have had, Hibs beat Arsenal, of course. There was the game against Tottenham where, of course, Tottenham beat Arsenal in the Mine Series. Chelsea beat Arsenal in the Mine Series as well. And then the other game, was it Rangers, which was a draw, I believe? As Gareth Southgate is in attendance, so I called it about 20 minutes ago, but you probably did expect him to be there, and indeed he is. The England manager. I'm looking over a couple of players here in this ranks, and of course in the two-side ranks, and Ivan Toney is a potential that he might be looking over as well, alongside the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe maybe. But is that a foul there on Balogun? The referee says no, it wasn't. It was just well defended there by Pontus Jansson. And of course, we've got the World Cup coming up in December this year as well. Do you reckon Ivan Toney, if he performs very well between now and sort of say early December, has got a shout with maybe going to that World Cup in Qatar, Russ? Or do you reckon it's that there's still sort of strikers with more quality about them than sort of Ivan Toney has?
And I'll just correct you, Mike. It's not this December; it's December 2022 when the World Cup is. If he has a good season this season and he manages to keep Brentford up, and then he has starts off next season really, really well, he could have a good chance. But it will just depend on the form of the other strikers that Southgate has at his disposal, and it'd be interesting to see whether he'll get a look in for the September international matches, because there's going to be no Marcus Rashford in the side because he's out injured at the moment and having surgery very, very soon.
Yeah, that's a shout. Of course, Marcus Rashford, of course, Mason Greenwood, another name there as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane. There's a lot of strikers. Of course, Patrick Bamford, of course, I have to throw into the mix. The fact you're alongside me as well. It'd be sort of bad of me if I didn't. The fact you're, a big Leeds fan, as he's another name that was had a really good season last season. But yeah, there's certainly 6 or 7 names that could get into that England side. So some that are already in it and going to be guaranteed to get in it, but there's still 4 or 5. Even the likes of Ollie Watkins, of course, maybe as well, that could potentially get into those friendlies. Yeah. There's Arsenal with a throw on right now. That's back with Callum Chambers to Ben White, and now Bernd Leno on to Pablo Marie. 5 minutes till half time. Of course, in this half, Arsenal are playing from right to left, and Brentford playing from left to right. And it's Arsenal with Nicola Pepe right now in the blue, the changed blue shirts and blue shorts and looks like red socks, which is very interesting. And then Brentford in the red and white, of course, shirts, black shorts and black socks. There's a chance here for Arsenal, but goalkeeper David Raya just comes out and claims that comfortably. And of course, he was linked with Arsenal, as I said at the start of the programme, a number of years ago. So I wonder whether, potentially, if the Ramsdale deal was to fall flat, then David Raya might be a name back on Mikel Arteta's shopping list again.
Absolutely, Mike. It could be, yes, but very interesting to see who Arsenal do go for, whether it will be Ramsdale or will it be the man in the Brentford goal.
Absolutely there, and we've just got about 3 minutes or so until we'll find out how much additional time we've got of this half. And Brentford are still leading by that goal to nil, scored by Sergi Canos, of course. The Brentford number 7. And David Raya just goes along with this goal kick, looking for Ivan Toney, and is that a foul there? Referee says yes, he was backing into Ben White, and Arsenal have a free kick now, and the number 4 knocks it on to Callum Chambers into Granit Xhaka now. And out it goes to Sergio Lukonga, his centre midfield partner for the day. And now it's Martinelli back to Lukonga again, and all the way back to Ben White, and now Callum Chambers. And then he goes looking for Smith Rowe as Chambers now. And it's seen behind there by Rico Henry for Brentford, another player that's looking bright for the Bees so far, the left back. He's had a very good first half so far. As just looking here now in regards to last season, of course, Aubameyang got 15, Lacazette got 17 for Arsenal. Nicola Pepe was sandwiched in between that with 16 in all competitions. But other than that, Bukayo Saka got 7 on the bench today. And Eddie Nketiah got 6, of course, another one who I didn't mention earlier, who's also out and unavailable. He's got an injury. So, in fact, Arsenal from this starting lineup have only got Nicola Pepe, who was in double figures last season. There's a chance here for Brentford now, and it's Ivan Toney who's going to come up against Callum Chambers and Bomo now. In fact, what was it though? So Yeka, sorry, and it's gone behind there in the end. Cross was looking for the midfielder of Yanal, and it's gone behind for what's going to be a Arsenal goal kick. But yeah, go on, Ross, what were you going to say there in regards to Nicola Pepe, of course, being the only man who was in double figures, of course, bar Joe Willock, but most of those were for Newcastle.
Yes, and last season had a very good season. It'll be interesting to see whether it can continue that form going into this season. At the moment, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but you just don't know, Mike. It could be. You just never know, my friend.
Absolutely, and we're coming up to the end of this first half now, as Bannigan tried to control it there but couldn't, and it's now Nicola Pepe for Arsenal. He's dropped back a little bit deeper there, and he's gone to Marie and now Ben White. Arsenal just playing it around at the moment. Simple balls along the floor. It's Sambi Lukonga now for the Gunners, and it's now Kieran Tierney gives it in back once more. Of course, Arsenal's new signing, Sambi Lukonga as well. Had a really good pre-season, in fact. Looked quite impressive, really, and a lot of Arsenal fans do really like Sambi alongside, Ben White and Nuno Tavares. Very good signings, but still not enough for Arsenal yet, and that's kind of showing today with the lack of strength and depth and the lack of quality that's on this pitch as well. When you look at some of the names on the bench, there's not many names there that can come on and make a difference either. And some of these players for Arsenal, there's a couple of names here who, probably wouldn't be playing if Aubameyang, Lacazette, etc. were on. But it's now Martinelli for Arsenal, and it's Nicola Pepe going to get a shot away, and it's blocked by, that was Pinnock, was that? In fact, I think it was Onyeka, as we're into a minute of additional time. We're 30 seconds into that. It does look like Brentford are going to be going in at the break with a goal to their name, a goal lead to their name, sorry. That's Sergi Canos' goal. And we're only about 15 seconds away. That's 150 of senior career start for Ethan Pinnock as well. The man who just made that block there, in fact. And the Jamaican, a real big name player, alongside Pontus Jansson. Two very good defenders. I think they'll certainly play their part for Brentford this season, alongside the goals of Ivan Toney. But the half-time whistle has been blown now in this game that, of course, we're bringing to you here on the Commentary Hub. And it's Brentford, the newly promoted side, who are leading Arsenal by a goal to nil. Sergi Canos, the goal scorer. And all to do at the break for Mikel Arteta. Of course, he's got to do it without his captain, without his talisman, without Alex Lacazette, without many, many more names as well. And, of course, without really going too much into the transfer market yet either. So, big second half for Mikel Arteta and for Arsenal. But Brentford and Thomas Frank, they'll be delighted with that first half. They're 1-up at the break.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Russ. Russ will be rejoining us in a second or two for the analysis. Before I'll give Russ about 5 minutes to get back his breath back, because it's been a magnificent first half. Brentford leading, would you believe, by a goal to nil. Who would have seen that one coming? But a great goal. Arsenal really didn't switch off. They can complain till the cows come home. It didn't look clear and obvious, as the guys said in commentary earlier, and I think they are right. You couldn't, when VAR look at it, they can't conclusively prove that was over the line or not, but there you go. That's just the way it is. Right, we've got some more live football for you tomorrow afternoon. We've got 3 matches, in fact, spread over the course of about 7 hours. At lunchtime, we've got Leeds away at Manchester United. Russ Burner will be in the presenter's chair for that one, and then he will also be in the presenter's chair for something a little bit different at about 2:50, because we're going to be diving into the Ishbian League, where Nicholas Jones will be at the ground for the game between Binfield and Basingstoke, and that will be live on all platforms tomorrow. What a game! What an afternoon that promises to be. And then I'm doing the back shift tomorrow evening on the presenting. And Russ will be our commentator as well, because we've got Norwich's return to the Premier League, and they're playing Liverpool as well. And what a game that promises to be. And on Sunday at 4:30, another final live match of the weekend, we have live audio commentary of Tottenham's match with Man City. John Kane, the man behind the microphone, for that one. Well, Russ, have you got your breath back after that first half?
I have, JB. Yes, I just come back from getting a drink as well, my friend. I've just managed to get my breath back.
Yeah, well, the main talking point will be the goal, of course. Was it in, or was the ball in or out? I mean, you and Mike called it in commentary, didn't you? That it couldn't have been clear and obvious. And I saw Arteta having a few words with Mike Dean, the fourth official there. Do Arsenal have just cause for complaint, or is it one of those unfortunate things where the officials or the VAR officials can't see it? Because obviously Arsenal will complain about it until the cows come home. You can be rest assured of that. But then again, when you look at the bigger picture, should they defended the second play better?
They should have done, JB. They switched off. I think they switched off and looked as if they were going to get the goal, which they thought they were going to get a corner to defend. They were getting ready to shape up for that corner to defend, really, and they've not really. And then they didn't really spot that second ball. And as I mentioned in commentary alongside Mike, the fantastic bit of play between Canos to get the shot off, but Callum Chambers should really keep his legs shut, and would have blocked it, which would have been great stuff if he had a blocked it, but he and Arsenal would have still been in a 0-0 of the break. But Brentford deserved a lead so far for me, JB.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been very good. I mean, we were talking on the podcast last night. A number of us were saying Brentford are going to get relegated. They play too attractive style, maybe a bit too open. But I have to say, one of the main features for me of the first half that's actually impressed me about Brentford is the way that they've actually kept Arsenal to very minimum chances. There was that one opportunity, of course, with Pepe. But in the main, they've defended really well, haven't they?
They haven't, JB. Yes, they've defended really, really well. Arsenal, other than one of the earlier chances, have not really. Yes, Arsenal have had a lot of possession, and I think Mike will agree with me on this, because I know he'll be listening along. I think he'll agree with me on this. Yes, Arsenal have had a lot of possession, but they've not really done anything with it in the final third as of yet. Whereas when you look at Brentford going forward, they cause problems, they're causing problems, and they're trying to get in amongst them. And every time Brentford go forward, they look as though they can't score goals.
Absolutely, and we're gonna bring Russ now for the social media. Don't forget, guys, if you are going to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at TC Hub, which is our official Twitter handle, and of course you can follow Russ, of course, as well on Twitter. Mike as well at Stevenage Gunner. At Media Journal is Russ's Twitter feed, and mine is at Stutzy83. What's the verdict as well on social media?
Well, JB, just have a quick glance across. A lot of Brentford fans, as you will be aware, probably will be happy with that first half performance. One of them in here as well, from an Arsenal fan, Gunnar Liam, put one or two players really limiting our performance. I think Saka, Famari, and a change of shape he reckons is needed. Another one, Farid, has said, what an embarrassing, gutless performance. This is down to the coaching and management. No one is playing for this club. This is coming from Arsenal fans. Also, if I just look through as well, another one from Arsenal here. I'll try and get a few from Brentford in a moment, JB, but this is another one from Arsenal from Sipo Moncala. He says, no style of play, no identity, no culture, no leaders on and outside the field, no confidence and useless players, egoistic owners, Edu Arteta being clowns. We are watching a circus here. It's traumatizingly boring. Explain the gameplay here. Absolutely the worst. This is some from Arsenal fans.
That is, I have to say, Russ, we're just putting in there, that is quite strong. I mean, obviously we'll see our AFTV after the match when we all come off the air, and they'll have strong opinions. But that just shows the discontent. And Mike's on as well. Let's bring Mike in just for a second and get his point of view on the first game, on the Arsenal performance so far. It has been rather disappointing, really, hasn't it, from Arsenal? What's your opinion? What's your impressions of their first 45 minutes so far, Mike?
I've got to agree with what the fans are saying. I think it's shambolic. I think it's gutless. I think, Arsenal were lacking any real clinicality in front of goal. Of course, that doesn't is not helped by the lack of sort of options up front with Aubameyang and Lacazette missing. But There's still Martinelli, Balogun, still good players. But no, I have to concur with what the fans are saying. I think from the first half, it has been just a continuation of pre-season, of last season, and in fact, it's probably Mikel Arteta's tenure. I think when you look at this Arsenal side, there's quality in this side. Nicola Pepe, Gabriel Martinelli, they're good players. Smith Rowe as well, but I just don't know. I don't know if they're playing for the manager. I think a lot of them are. They're kind of looking at this side. They're looking at the transfer window and the business that we've done. Yes, we brought in Sambi the Congo, we brought in Ben White, and we brought in Nuno Tavares, who's going to be back up left back to Kieran Tierney. But it's really, in terms of the transfer window, not been great at all from Arsenal. And yes, there's still weeks to go, but I think when you look at, the fact that there's some big name players out of tonight's game, you kind of have to, bring the cover in nice and early. And Arsenal started doing that, getting the first 2 or 3 names. But then from that, I don't know whether it was lack of funds. I don't know whether it was the lack of, trying to get their targets, being beaten by other clubs who've got more money or more, ability to pay bigger wages to these players. I don't know what it is. But at the moment, it's a really bad first half. It's been flat, gutless, shambolic, and just a continuation of last year. And Arteta's tenure all over again.
Yeah,
okay.
JB,
I've just seen another one as well, JB,
on,
from another Arsenal fan. And Mike, I want to get your thoughts on this as well. It's from Sammy Manning. He says, and we really want to be a member of the Super League, laugh out loud. We should be forming a minor league with the likes of Wickham and Forest Green. At least there we stand a chance. And Mike, would you agree with that? Do you reckon you stand a chance against Wickham and Forest Green from what you've seen in that first half, mate?
Mate, it's shambolic. When you look back and you see that, you see, we've drawn the Carabao Cup draw away at West Brom. That's not an easy tie. We'll have FA Cup ties this season where you might end up having to go to a League 1, League 2 ground, in front of ferocious crowd and whatever. It all depends. Going to somewhere like Wigan, going to somewhere like Coventry, Portsmouth, and resting loads of players and coming out of a side like this, Arsenal could end up losing to them. And I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words. It's not great to watch at the moment at all.
Well, there we go. That's the views on Arsenal. Now, we'll get Mike to get ready for the commentaries because we'll be throwing back to him for second half commentary in a couple of minutes from now. One more thing. I'm going to ask 2 more questions before we hand back for the second half, Russ. Firstly, are Arsenal capable without Lacazette and Aubameyang? Have they got enough quality to get back in this game? Because at the moment, apart from 1 half chance for Pepe, they haven't really done too much, have they? What do you think they need to do to get back into this game?
Well, first and foremost, JB, we need to score. That's stating the obvious, but
obviously,
whether they can do or not is another matter. Because, like I've mentioned on commentary, and like I mentioned to Mike, when Brentford take the lead, whether it's the Griffin Park, Brentford Community Stadium, whichever ground they play at, they're always tough to beat. Or Brentford wants to go in front, and he's proving that again tonight. And I think Arsenal really need to, if they're not to get anything out of this, really need to score first. They really need to have a shot on target, because I don't recall David Ray having to make a save. Yes, he's claimed a few crosses into the penalty area.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have crossed them as saves, would you, though, Russ?
No, those are just like catching practices, if you would, in the warm-up with your goalkeeping coach. But you need to test the keeper a bit more. But if they don't, and where they're playing at the moment, I can't see them doing that. I can see Brentford going on and getting a comfortable victory here, JB. I think Brentford could end up getting 2 or 3 more goals. Probably another 2 goals and be winning 3-0 come the end of 90 minutes.
Absolutely. John Kane's on as well, I believe. Good evening, John. What's your thoughts of the first half, and What do Arsenal need to do to get? Or Robo, I'll ask the opposite question. What do you think Brentford need to do to stay in the lead?
Good evening, gents. The first half was shambolic as far as the Arsenal is concerned. I keep watching the replay all over again of the goal, and I just could not help noticing how badly that, from the goalkeeper's perspective, was, because the ball came
He
to him
got
on the
beaten in
near
the post,
side,
didn't he?
and he was literally about a metre away from the post. And how can he let someone score from that kind of position? It is unbelievable. And the more and more I see it, the more I think the Arsenal goalkeeper should have done much, much, much more. But I would not take anything out of Brentford. They play very well. They're very creative as well, going up forward. The second half is going to be the biggest test, because they did do quite a lot of running, and the way they've done is, we'll have to see in the second half if they still have that capability of running through the second half.
Yeah, I mentioned in the program that you compared last night, and that I thought they were going to be open defensively. I've actually seen precious little evidence to support my theory on that, but they have been very good, well organised. Thomas Frank's a good coach, obviously, John. I just want your views. Was it in or out? I mean, it's very difficult to tell, isn't it, John? At the end of the day, isn't it? Arsenal can really have no grats if it's not clear and obvious.
It's very hard to see, and you can't blame the referee or the linesman if you actually went in or out. But at the end of the day, the main point is, if it was in or out, the game played on for Arsenal's advantage to start with, cleared the ball away, and then they could not really defend that attack that happened afterwards. So whichever you look at it, it's Arsenal's fault for conceding the goal.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, John, and we'll hopefully hear from you at full time. Russ is now back in the commentary box as day now turns to dusk here at I was going to say Griffin Park, up at the Community Stadium in Brentford. A lovely ground. A lot of nice redevelopments going on at the moment. Nice little skyscraper buildings, and it's a nice regeneration of that area of West London, of course. Brentford, of course, replacing Fulham from that side. And obviously, what a derby it's going to be between Fulham and Chelsea, that is for sure. We're just waiting for the teams to come back out. In fact, let's rejoin the second half now, and let's rejoin your two commentators, Russ Burning, who's got to choose the man of the match a bit later. And first of all, welcome back, Mike Harneman.
Cheers, JB. Thanks a lot, mate. So the two sides are coming back out now. Arsenal were ready back out nice and early, and Brentford are following suit right now, with captain Pontus Jansson leading the Bees out onto the field of play. Doesn't look like either side have made any alterations at the break either. It doesn't look like we're starting this half as we started the first, in terms of the two sides. No injuries or substitutions for either side throughout the first half either. But yeah, we touched on it just a moment ago there, Russ, as well. And I want to kind of touch on Bert Leno a little bit for that Brentford goal. I said it at the time, obviously, he was beaten at his near post. And the fact that Arsenal are, sort of very reliant on him, in fact, solely reliant on him at the moment as the goalkeeper, he's got no pressure on him. Do you think that's played a part in his sort of performance in this first half? Knowing that, he can pretty much get away with anything, because he knows he's guaranteed to play next week anyway, as far as things are at the moment.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And I think also looking at it as well, he'll be thinking, right, we're losing what? Right, it's the first game of the season. There's still 7 more games to go. We can easily turn this around if we end up losing this one. I think that could be what's on his mind as well, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Sergi Canos' goal after 22 minutes is the difference so far. Brentford have a throw on now as well. And just Ethan Pinnock there just rubbing the ball down with a wet tea towel there, or a dry tea towel there. I'm not too sure, but getting ready for a long throw by the looks of it. Throw it into the box and header on there. In fact, it's well defended by Arsenal. In fact, it's not actually. It's now with, I think that was Janel. I think that was. It's gone through to Bert Leno in the orange shirt and orange shorts as well. And he just bowls it out to Tierney. And now it's Pablo Marie is going to smash it long, looking for Martinelli. And now it's with Balogun, of course, leading the line in place of Aubameyang and Lacazette. For anyone that's joining us late, those two miss out with illness today. And of course, there's no Eddie Nketiah due to injury as well. No Willian either. So the rumours of him being played as a possible false nine, of course, not coming to fruition. And maybe that's what Mikel Arteta might have to do. He might have to go with a false nine at some stage. If things don't sort of go the way, of the Gunners in the second half, maybe put Gabriel Martinelli through the middle or Nicola Pepe through the middle as the false nine and just change it, because at the moment it's not working for Arsenal at all, is it?
No, it's not working at all, Mike. And I've just noticed the stat, which is good for them. Just noticed the stat as well that every time Arsenal have been behind at half time under Mikel Arteta, they've either drawn or lost. They've played 14 matches under Arteta when they're behind at half time, and they've drawn 4, lost 10, which is not a very good record. And
There's
unless
a
they
chance
turn
here
this around
for
today,
Arsenal. Granit Xhaka to Kieran Tierney. Now Tierney first drills it into Gabriel Martinelli, but David Raya just falls on the ball there and is comfortably able to kind of just control that and sort of just fall on the ball and take it into his stride. But it's a little bit better from Arsenal, I suppose, in the last minute or two there. But what I was going to say as well was, of course, last season Arsenal started off against newly promoted Fulham and were winners on that occasion convincingly. But of course, that was without the fans as well. So the fans inside the community stadium are obviously making a big impact, and you can see that they're loving life at the minute. They're really up for this game, and they're playing a big part in it. And I think if Fulham last season had the fans in their stadium, it wouldn't have been as easy for Arsenal either.
No, in Arsenal 1,700 they've got inside the Brentford Community Stadium this evening, and I think if Arsenal end up going on to lose this game, you'll hear them voices heard more than the Brentford fans when Arteta and the team go across at the end of the match.
Absolutely, and if you look at this Arsenal side as well, it's I'm not too sure what Mikel Arteta can do in terms of bringing in new players, but that'd be an interesting one to see. As there's a foul there by Sambi Lokonga on the Brentford man. I'm not too sure who it was, in fact, but it's a free kick to the Bees anyway. Just also had a bit of possession there, and then Sambi Lokonga decided to take an extra touch, and it kind of went against him there, didn't it, as well? And now Brentford are just able to give it back to David Raya, who's going to just clear it long and then into the Arsenal half, and Pablo Marie just hoops it clear, basically. And it's now a bit of head tennis, and now it's with Granit Xhaka, the Swiss international, and now it's Kieran Tierney. But yeah, it's an interesting start to this first half, and still, first half, second half, and still Brentford leading by that goal to nil.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And just going, and Brentford so far not really got out of second gear, and just looking through a few more.
It's a poor ball there. Nicola Pepe tries to find Smith Rowe, and it's a really bit of poor play. In fact, it's back with Pepe now. He's got it once more, and Arsenal is just going to give it to Smith Rowe, who's out on the flank for the moment, and then into Pepe. Does look like those two might have changed for a moment there, but Pepe's forced to go back to Pablo Marie, and now it's on to Kieran Tierney, and now Sambi Lokonga for Arsenal. And Arsenal trying to get the ball through there to Martinelli, but then it's through to David Raya. But yeah, go on, Mark. You were just going to make a point there in regards to something, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the tweets that are coming in, Mike, from some of the fans still tweeting in as we watch this game unfold. And there's Gunner since 96, the Gunner since 96 has tweeted, "I feel like every Premier League club knows how shambolic we are at the back.
Won't hesitate by Smith Rowe for Arsenal. Smith Rowe's on the run. Smith Rowe, good save by David Raya that time. It's probably Arsenal's brightest spark there. Emil Smith Rowe.
Yeah, best run of the game from an Arsenal's perspective there.
Yeah,
from Smith Rowe, best chance as well. And going back to that Gunner since 96 tweet, he says, "They won't hesitate to press everything they can when we have the ball." Also, he says he can't stand to watch Chambers pass around at the back any longer. And what do you make to Chambers tonight, man? Do you think he's a bit of a problem for Arsenal at the back tonight, do you think he could be? He's one of the weak links? Because he was the one who got beat for the goal.
It's interesting to say that. Of course, when you look at who's on the bench, Arsenal have in fact got 3 players on the bench who could actually play at right back instead of Callum Chambers. There's Hector Bellerin, there's Cedric Suarez, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles have played there in the past as well. So Callum Chambers really has the most competition at the moment for Arsenal. Pepe tries to feed Martinelli down, and it's gone through to David Raya. But the strikers don't really have any competition. The midfield don't really have an awful lot of competition. Centre back, there's only Rob Holding. Left back, there's only potentially Tavares, and Maitland-Niles has played there in the past. But when you look at Callum Chambers, he's the one who's got most of the pressure on him. As Brentford have a chance here now down this left side, and Granit Xhaka does well there, but it's gone back to the right back. I think it's the right mid there. He was Canos maybe, but it's now with Rico Henry and now back to Pontus Jansson. But yeah, Callum Chambers, I think he's not had the best of first halves, but he's not been awful. Yes, you can say he was at fault for the goal possibly, but not as much as Bernd Leno being beaten at his near post. But yeah, he's the one that's under the most pressure for me. Having potentially 3 players that can play in that position on the bench. As it's with David Raya now back to the defending midfielder again up there, and then it's with Janssen, and now back to David Raya again, out to Rico Henry, and on to who was fouled there. Was that Ivan Toney fouled or Wayne fouled? One of the two. And it's a free kick to Brentford. But you can answer the same question. How did you make? What did you make? Sorry, of Callum Chambers his first half? Because as I say, there's 3 options that can come on in his place, isn't there, if need be?
Yes, mate. As you mentioned, 3 players that could come on in his place if need be. Right back tonight. I'm surprised he went with Chambers in that position rather than go with someone like Hector Bellerin, Cedric, who's played there in the past for Arsenal, and Maitland-Niles, who's also can play there as well. I'm surprised he's not gone with any of those, especially when Chambers is a natural centre back. And I mentioned it on commentary in the first half, Mike. He was a fault for me for the goal, and I don't think he's. And also, which I've noticed as well, when they're going forward, when Pepe's got the ball inside and Chambers on the overlap, he always seems to go towards Smith Rowe or play backwards.
Talking of Callum Chambers, he's just won a free kick now as well for Arsenal. They're just having a look at Balogun. Balogun's actually had the fewest touches in this game as well, and he's, remember, the man leading the line for Arsenal. So that's on the midfield, isn't it? They're not getting him involved in the game as much as he needs to do.
Yes, and as I was about to say, Mike, as well, if you look at the back line, when Chambers makes that runs forward, it's like Arteta saying to Pepe, don't use Callum Chambers. And if that's the case, why is Chambers always making them overlapping runs going forward if he's not going to be used going forward? Because if they do use him, that could really create an overload, because they could move out one of the defenders, the centre backs, fetch out towards
for Arsenal now.
Chambers.
Nicola Pepe out to Kieran Tierney into the box and tries to get the cross in. Smith Rowe has got it now for Arsenal. The new Arsenal number 10 is on a big contract as well. We've got a big upgrade in his contract. Here's the Congo now to Smith Rowe, and it's well defended there by, I think that was Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock between the pair of them. But now Callum Chambers, has that gone out of play? Yes, it has. And that's going to be a throw in there. It's a little bit better from Arsenal. I think they started this first part of the second half better than the first half. But, it couldn't have got any worse, really, could it?
No, and Mike, all the way it could really get any worse is if Brentford had scored a second by now, and that's the only positive Arsenal really can take out of it. We started better, plus it's still only 1-0, and the longer it goes at 1-0, it's going to be Brentford are going to feel the squeaky bum time, and Arsenal will grow in confidence and get back in this. And Saka is about to come on for Arsenal in a minute. It'd be interesting to see who comes off for him.
Yeah, I would probably say it will be Balogun. I think Balogun, yes, he's shown that he's working hard, and he looks like he wants it. But we just saw a minute ago he's had the fewest touches of any Arsenal player or of anyone in this game. He had a couple of half chances in the first half, but I think probably it'd be him that will make way. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him that made way, and Gabriel Martinelli was the man that would move through the middle. It's Arsenal in possession now with Nicola Pepe on to Callum Chambers, and now with Sambi Lokonga, and now Smith Rowe, and on to Pepe. We'll wait and see if that is how the substitution is called by Mikel Arteta, whether that is what he says, but that's what I would do from the perspective of somebody that obviously is an Arsenal fan and knows a lot about the club and what the talent of this club is like, and it's what I do. But anyway, it's a chance here for Arsenal now, and it's with Pepe. So a free kick there. Referee says no, and still waiting for the substitution as well. It's Callum Chambers in possession though. On to Pepe. Pepe up against Ethan Pinnock now. Into the box he goes, and it's gone behind for a goal kick, and that means that it's probably going to be time for the Arsenal number 7 to enter the fray. Indeed it is, and it is to replace Flo Balogun. You can call me Mystic Mike if you would like to.
Okay, Mystic Mike. Mystic Mike, I know what you said in the prediction show that we did. And before I ask you that question, Mike, which I'm about to ask you, fantastic touch from the Brentford fans, up on their feet, clapping Bukayo Saka and cheering him as he comes on, especially what happened with the all racism thing after he missed one of the penalties in the Euros for England.
Absolutely.
But the question that I was about to ask you, Mike, from what you've seen so far, are you still sticking to your 2-1 prediction that you gave on the prediction show, which went out a little bit earlier on this afternoon?
I don't know at the moment. Is my best and honest answer. As Arsenal are in here now with Granit Xhaka, and he's given away, in fact, and it's going to go back to the Swiss man. But Arsenal have looked brighter in the opening 15 minutes or so of this half, as Saka knocks it on to Tierney. I suppose being the optimist, I should have to say yes. So I'm going to stick with yes. And Brentford are going to go down the other end now and probably score as I say that, but in fact they didn't. So yeah, I'll stick with the 2-1. Yeah.
And I'm going to stick with my 1-1 score prediction from what I said earlier. Can't really change it now, Mike. I just thought, see if you had another idea whether you think he's going to stay this way at the end. I still think it's going to be 1-1. I think Arsenal will snatch a late goal in the 88th minute, Mike.
Pepe on to Sambi Lokonga now. Back to Nicola Pepe once more. There's Lokonga now. And he has his effort, and it's straight down the nose of David Raya. It's a good effort, though, from Sambi Lokonga. He's looked okay, in fact. When you look at the Arsenal players that put in a shift and have played well tonight, I think Sambi Lokonga is up there as one of the few that have had decent enough games, really.
They have, Mike, yes. And I think with Lokonga tonight, I think part of the Arsenal problem tonight is because when they've gone forward, Lokonga's got forward, and so too has Granit Xhaka. So when Arsenal have lost possession and Brentford are going forward, they have been exposing the back four because of the formation, because of how high Lokonga and Xhaka's got. So that's going to be, I think that's a really big problem. It's going to be going forward, my friend. I think that's one of the problems it's going to be. Especially if Brentford get a second goal.
Injury here for Christopher Ayer as well, and an incident there with Kieran Tierney, and it looks like he's going to be having to make way as well. The new Brentford signing, of course, signed from Celtic. He looks like he's hobbling off to be replaced. I'm just going to see who by now on my screen, but it does look like the Brentford substitution is about to be made. Sorry, any second.
It'll be number 29 for Brentford, Michael's going to...
Which is Beck Sorensen, yeah.
Because I've just seen him getting ready to come on, so he'll probably come back on for time being, Christopher Ayer, and then once the sub's ready, he'll come back. He'll probably come off. But that's also a game stripped and ready to come on for Brentford if and when they do decide to make that change.
Yeah, so at the moment, the only change that has been made is Bukayo Saka coming on for Flo Flanagan, which of course now means that Gabriel Martinelli has gone through the middle for Arsenal with Saka and Pepe and Smith Rowe the men in behind. And of course, Brentford still leading by that Sergi Canos, 3-0 as well, which was scored after 22 minutes in their inaugural season in the Premier League with. Of course, or in fact, not inaugural, is it? It's, they have been here before, but as the Premier League, it's their inaugural season anyway. And they, of course, as I mentioned earlier, were the 50th side to be in the division, and it's their first season in 74, I believe, to be a Premier League side. And it does look like there's going to be another bit of treatment now. There's another man down here. So gives Thomas Frank a bit of time to have a chat with some of his players there, to get some instructions across. He's having a chat there with Norgard. As Pablo Marina was down, he's now had to just make way off the field, of course, for treatment. And he's just having a couple of swigs of water there, taking some fluid on board as well. He's just going to get treated there. He's got something, a whack in the mouth, I believe, there. The Arsenal centre-back. And it's Arsenal in possession now with Nicola Pepe and now Ben White. Pablo Marie's back on, and it's now with Granit Xhaka. And Smith Rowe on to Callum Chambers now. Arsenal. And Smith Rowe as well. And now it's on to Nicola Pepe. Nicola Pepe is into the box, he goes. On to Sambi Nakonga. Tries to find Saka. Now it's an effort. Kieran Tierney, and it's deflected. And wide of the goal there. Did look like it had gone the right side of the goal there for a moment from Kieran Tierney's deflected effort. But it was fortunate from a Brentford perspective that the ball came off. I think it was Aya. And behind for a corner to Arsenal there. Did look like for a moment it was going to be better for the Gunners, but ball deflected the wrong side of the goal. But Arsenal still have an opportunity from this corner. Pepe whips it in, and it's headed up from Gabriel Martinelli, and that's gone out of play. In fact, it hit the corner flag and then went out of play. So it's gone out of play for a throw-in in the end, and that was a good delivery there from Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli unmarked as well at the near post. He rose and was able to beat a couple of Brentford players there, but wasn't able to direct it on target. But that's better from Arsenal, and Arsenal really are putting Brentford to the sword a little bit now in terms of some of these chances, and certainly in terms of possession, aren't they, Ross?
They are, Mike, yes, and also, Mike, he got away from the goal scorer Sergi Canos there, did the Brentford man, and that's really a bit of a problem for Brentford if they're going to if they start losing the men now of set pieces. And Arsenal 11 shots in total on the night, 3 on target, Mike, and from 11 shots, you need to see a little bit more from Arsenal. Brentford 5 shots on.
Chance here for Brentford now, and it's an effort straight down the nose of Burnt Leno in the end from I think it was Canos maybe, I wasn't quite sure, but it was a good run there anyway. He literally opened up. Was it the right back maybe? Anyway, Brentford are in possession at the moment still, and that was a good run there, and there was no Arsenal man even bothering to close him down, was it?
No, it wasn't, Mike, and that's their 6th shot in the game, 2 on target for Brentford now, and Brentford 2 on target.
Brentford got a chance here now as well, and it's an effort at goal, and it's a good save from Burnt Leno to deny Mbeumo that time, and he had to get a strong hand on that, the German international as well, the Arsenal number 1, and he did, but that was a direct through ball down the middle, headed on by Ivan Toney. And then I think it's Norgard in space. He heads it on to Mbeumo, and in fact it was Chanel, on to Mbeumo, and it was good goalkeeping there from Bernd Leno. But again, this game's really opened up now, isn't it?
It has, yes, Mike, and the offside flag had gone up there, which helped Arsenal there, really. Even if it had gone anyone to counter, but good save. Leno didn't know that the flag were going to be raised, and even did the Arsenal defenders who managed to get the ball clear.
And here's Bukayo Saka now for Arsenal. On to Kieran Tierney, and Kieran Tierney knocks it back to Granit Xhaka now. Callum Chambers with the effort, well blocked by Rico Henry at that time, and behind for a throw-on, which Mikel Arteta is going to just throw into the hands of Smith Rowe and trying to get him going on the front foot there. But Arsenal there, it looked like Kieran Tierney had the beating of his man, but that was good defending from the right back Aya from Brentford, wasn't it, as well?
It was indeed, Mike. Fantastic defending. Put Kieran Tierney off originally because he was just about to cross, put him off, which then forced it to play back out, and Arsenal wouldn't throw from it. But Arsenal, the second half, of all the better side.
Yeah, on top at the moment, and what's missing is the goal. And here's Nicola Pepe now in possession, a bit of dancing feet there, and it's given away to Pontus Jansson. And Rico Henry just gets clear it down the field, but only as far as Ben White and now Bukayo Saka and Callum Chambers. Of course, just going back to that a minute ago, Smith Rowe puts one in as well. Aya and Kieran Tierney probably know each other pretty well from playing in Scotland as well. I'm sure they certainly would have crossed paths. Because of course Kieran Tierney was another one that was signed from Celtic as well, so they probably were in the same side for a game, not a game or two, but for a season or two maybe as well. It looks like Arsenal are getting a second sub ready, and it's going to be the number 24, Reece Nelson, who's coming on. So another change to the attack for the Gunners with the Englishman coming on. It's the Englishman Bukayo Saka, who's in possession right now, though. Dancing into the area. Referee is saying no penalty to that one, and I think he probably called that correctly as well. As Granit Xhaka wins the tackle there on Yeka, and now with Kieran Tierney. This game has got a bit frantic for a moment, but here's Smith Rowe trying to find Bukayo Saka now, and put clear by Ethan Pinnock. So here's Kieran Tierney. So do you want me to, see who Reece Nelson's going to come on for? See if I can get it 2 out of 2, but I'll do that in a minute. As it's Pepe from the Congo now, and now it's Callum Chambers whips it in. And it's an effort at goal, and it's miles over the top there. That was Granit Xhaka. I think he wanted to hit that from about 35 yards out with the way he struck that one. Maybe he wasn't used to actually hitting it from inside the box, because that was kind of one of his thunderbolt efforts. But it was certainly not troubling the goalkeeper that time. It was too high as Reece Nelson's getting ready to come on. And I'm going to throw it out there and say that Reece Nelson's going to come on in place of Nicola Pepe, personally.
I'm wondering, Mike, will it be Martinelli?
Well, and then put Pepe in the middle. Maybe, as Mads Sorensen's coming on, the number 29, to replace Christopher Aya for, and it is Martinelli. In fact, you've got it right that time around. So we're 1-1 on Arsenal substitutions.
Yes, and also, Mike, if you recall, I actually said that who was coming on for Christopher Aya if he did go off.
Indeed you did, so you are now beating me by 2-1 in substitutions. But anyway, back to the here and now, into the nitty-gritty of what actually matters rather than our predictions and mess about. But here is the substitute now, and it's his cross straight into the hands of Bernd Leno. So just make a note of the changes. So that was Martinelli off for Arsenal, and that means that Pepe is going to go through the middle. So that's Nelson on there, and then that is 29 to come on, which was Beck Sorensen, isn't it, for Brentford, I believe. So it's a different name to come on the screen, but it's still the same person. So one of those ones that has multiple names or surnames by the looks of it. And there's a chance here for Brentford now with Ethan Pinnock. He does well there against Bukayo Saka as well. Turns in well and wins the throw on off of Callum Chambers too. As Thomas Frank is geeing up the crowd, trying to give it, a good push there to try and get them over the line to pick up 3 very valuable points on the opening day of the season. And you can see the difference in his body language and Mikel Arteta's as well. He's very vocal and sort of, using hand signals and stuff as well. Mikel Arteta has just kind of stood there a bit lost for what to do and how to get something out of this game. It's certainly Brentford manager who is trying to G his side up more at the moment. Here's Wemo now for Brentford. It's gone behind off of Callum Chambers for a throw-on. 72 played. We're listening to the Commentary Hub in partnership with Melon for this season. Of course, our sponsors Melon this season. We're in partnership with JB Sports, also JDAC Football and Storm FM as well. And this is the start of our coverage for this weekend. And we've got some great coverage coming up with Norwich against Liverpool tomorrow. It's going to be covered. Also, let's have a look what else is going to be covered. There's the game at Binfield as well. Going to be covered against Basingstoke by Nicholas Jones. And that's 2-0 Brentford, is it? Yes, it's Norgard, the number 6 there. He's come in. The ball was thrown in from the left-hand side, I believe. And Norgard there rose above everybody and just headed that one easily off of the line, on the line, into the back of the net. And Brentford are leading Arsenal by 2 goals to 1. Norgard there with the second goal to double Sergi Canos. Canos' goal was actually Sorensen, the substitute, his throw there. And again, you have to question Arsenal's defending, and you have to question the positioning of, is it Granit Xhaka there at the near post as well? In fact, no, it's not. It's Callum Chambers yet again. You have to question him a bit, and you also have to question Pablo Marie, Ben White, let the ball bounce in front of him.
And also, Mike, Granit Xhaka, like you mentioned, because Granit Xhaka stood watching Norgard, and Norgard come from where was stood behind Granit Xhaka and just couldn't wondering past Granit Xhaka to go on end of that. Fantastic long throw, bounced twice, and then the third, before he could bounce the third time, Norgard rose the highest above everyone and headed home. And Kieran Tierney was in there as well, and Kieran Tierney looked on as if to say, "Who's supposed to be marking him here?"
Yeah, absolutely.
He knew he weren't Tim, and I think if you look at the marking, you've got to say Granit Xhaka should have been marking him. But like I said, Chambers at fault again for letting the throw go over his head and bounce for the first time.
Yeah, and Ben White as well. Of course, in front of Ben White there as well. Ben White potentially could have done better with that as well. There's 3 or 4 there from an Arsenal perspective. They could have done better in terms of getting the ball clear and stopping that goal. And, yes, we've said Arsenal were lacking a lot of attacking options, but, for all of Arsenal's sort of dominance in the second half between sort of 45 and now, there's nothing to show for it, and Arsenal still making the same silly mistakes at the back, and Chelsea, Man City, Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham and Brighton in the next 6 as well. So some big games there, the next 2 in particular.
Yes, and Norwich will be looking at this performance tonight from Arsenal against another newly promoted side. They'll be looking at this and thinking they've got a chance of getting something as well if they play like they do at home. And I did say, Mike, on the preview last night and to you before the show started, and I mentioned it at half time as well, that once Brentford go in front, whether it's at Griffin Park or here at the Brentford Community Stadium, they're an hard team to break down, and he's just going to show that as well. And Arsenal fans, you including, Mike, will probably end up going into meltdown very, very soon.
Mate, it's you can see the 2 contrasts in emotions there between the fans. The Arsenal fans are just panned in a moment ago, sitting there dejected, struggling to see where there's a way back to to get a result from this game. And Brentford loving life, very jubilant, and just thoroughly enjoying their night out. They're thoroughly enjoying the start to their weekend at the moment. There's a free kick here
Absolutely,
for
Mike. Yeah,
free kick
absolutely,
here
Mike.
for Arsenal though, at the moment. Kieran Tierney caught by the number 15 on Yeka, and Arsenal need to do something now. Arsenal really, with about 14 plus stoppage time to go, Arsenal have to score now to have any chance of getting anything from this game. And
Yeah,
if you look
Mike, and
at
also I've just seen a
yeah,
tweet in here from Neil Francis just before this free kick comes in. He says, "Sorry to
go.
start early, but Arteta has to go. This has been embarrassing. What has he been working on with the team? Christ only knows." So he's saying Arteta needs to go this early in the season.
And that was a poor free kick from Pepe as well in the end, not troubling David Raya. He's had a really easy night, David Raya. I think when he sees this getting back on the highlights, he'll probably be thinking to himself, well, I could have just bought a deck chair pretty much and just sort of sat here on my deck chair. Didn't really have any saves to make as far as things are at the moment anyway. And in fact, when he saw, Pontus Jansson, Pinnock, the whole back line, when they saw Aubameyang and Lacazette out, that would have given them a massive lift. And this game's going to be huge. If they're to go on and win this game, then this is a massive result for Brentford. Of course, the fans, are loving life at the moment. As I said, they're very jubilant, and they'll continue on with that as well. This will be a big party for them as they ever go on and get a win in their return to big time football.
Yes, and my question to you, looking towards back end of last season, none of the performances really picked up for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Probably says back end of the second half of last season. Pre-season has been really poor as well recently.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
game has been abject. Poor Arsenal look void of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel it should be time for Arteta to go based on back end of last season's performances and results and this game tonight, or would you give him the next until Norwich game to try and turn it around?
You're asking me the big question at the moment. As Brentford have a corner now as well, and Bueno just tries to get the cross in, but it's gone behind for a corner. And when you look at the two sides, of course, a couple of years ago, it wasn't long ago, Brentford were playing League One football. Arsenal, of course, played Champions League football, Europa League finalists as well. There's a massive rise for Brentford, but Arsenal really are on the decline at the moment. As substitutions being made now for the Bees as well. But you're asking one of the biggest Arteta fans, let me correct myself there, one of the biggest Arteta outs, the question when we've still got about 10 minutes left of this game. And at the moment, I have to stick to my guns and say what I've said all along. I didn't want him. I didn't think he had the relevant, necessary experience. And, it's shown last season, it's shown the season before. And he's certainly shown tonight as well. He's lacking ideas, lacking everything. Almost free there from this corner as well, and that would have really put the ice on the cake for Brentford and put the dagger into it for Arsenal. Yeah.
Yes, and I know we mentioned briefly during half time we'll be watching AFTV afterwards, and
I'll tell you what, I won't be watching none of that.
yeah, well, some of the fans will like to see what happened. Well, watching that after Arsenal fall to defeat, and I can tell you something now, Mike, and I can tell the listeners as well. They'll be going into meltdown with this, especially with this performance. What has he worked on in pre-season with this squad? I don't really think, Mike, Aubameyang or Lacazette would really make a difference tonight. You've been that poor.
I think you have to agree. Aubameyang's been really poor last season. Really poor pre-season. Didn't score. Lacazette, not really did an awful lot in pre-season. Had a good enough season last season, but his name is one of the ones that could potentially be on the way out, alongside Bellerin and others. Potentially, I think Aubameyang potentially might be up for sale as well. As Tavares has just come on now to replace Callum Chambers, just to get another more attacking threat on, but it means that he's playing out of position now. As Kieran Tierney's on a run here now, Bukayo Saka, I think Arsenal just chucking everyone forward, chucking everything in the kitchen sink and probably the fridge, the microwave, the oven, and everything else they got in the kitchen at the Brentford defence right now. It's gone behind for what is going to be a Brentford goal kick as well. Coming up to 8 minutes to go. And it was Callum Chambers for Nuno Tavares. That was just been confirmed on my screen in front of me. I was pretty certain it was anyway. I wonder what this does for the formation. In fact, I've got absolutely no idea, really, as Brentford made another sub as well earlier, but I couldn't quite see who it was that come on. I'm sure you'll probably correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, but I think there was a second sub made from them when Arsenal made their second as well, wasn't there? I'm not too sure who it was that actually entered the fray, though. I think I missed that one.
Yes, it was Bidstrup who came on for them, Mike. I'm just going to double check and let you know who it was who went off for them. But it was Bidstrup who did come on for Brentford, and it was Onyenka who went off, Mike. So Bidstrup for Onyenka was the second sub for Brentford this evening.
I'm glad you've mentioned that now, because otherwise I'll be saying Onyeka's name about 100 times and I'll be like, oh, he went off 15 minutes ago. But anyway, here's Lokonga now to Tavares. And Tavares gets his effort over the top of the goal there and not troubling David Raya yet again. And Brentford comfortable at the moment. Still 7 minutes to go plus stoppage time. But just showing the Norgard goal as well. Ball bounced in front of Granit Xhaka and Ben White, and then it's just headed in by Norgard. If Norgard was to miss the header, it was I think it was who was it? There was another man in there as well who would have probably headed it in anyway, either way. So if he wasn't to score, then it might have been Onyeka was probably going to score anyway, or the man that was right alongside him. So there was certainly Brentford would have scored from that attack either way. As it looks like they're going to make their first substitution now as well, as you see the first wave of fans leaving the stadium from the away end as well, with Arsenal fans with 6 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Already seeing this as the first defeat of the new season, and Bukayo Saka is trying to go on a run now for Arsenal. But of course, Arsenal will of course be bottom of the table tonight with 0 points, and Brentford will be top. And yes, just to get that one out there, for any Brentford fans that have followed your club since you were sort of League 2, League 1, you will be top of the Premier League tonight after one game. Just to get that one in there. Barring, of course, a drastic change in the outcome of this game in the remaining 5 minutes plus stoppage time. You're listening to the commentary hub, and Arsenal have a corner now. Going to be whipped in by Saka. It's hook cleared by the Brentford man there. It was Mbomo to Tierney. Now back with Bukayo Saka again. And it's gone into the box there, but well defended by the Brentford man, which I think was one of the South Bidstrup, I think, but now it's with Saka. Chance here for the England international. Back to Tavares now. Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka opened up his body, has a shot, and that one is low, but also not troubling David Raya, as we've said multiple times tonight, as Ivan Toney, in fact, it's not Ivan Toney, it's Brian Mbeumo making way. He's going to be replaced by Force, the number 9. So they're making their final alteration. Arsenal, of course, made all of theirs. Of course, barring any head injuries, etc., of course. And it's Marcus Force just entering the fray now. And
mate, while the substitution's been made as well, I've just noticed this stat here, which will, if any Brentford fans are listening, will cheer them up. And Christian Norgard has scored his first goal in 86 league appearances. He last netted in the Danish Superliga in November 2017, playing for Brøndby IF against FC Copenhagen.
And I'll tell you what, he's come from the Danish Super League. Maybe Arsenal might be, maybe Arsenal's trying to enter the Danish Super League. They might have a chance in that one, rather than trying to go for the Super League with the likes of Juventus and Bayern Munich, not Bayern Munich, etc. So Nicola Pepe has an effort there, and it's saved by David Ray. We actually got a hand on that one. I think that's probably the only bit of work he's had to do, but it's a good move there from Arsenal. But yeah, Arsenal should probably try and enter the Danish Super League rather than the main Super League that they tried to push for with Juventus and Real Madrid and other teams like that. Of course, a lot of the English teams, United, City, Chelsea, Tottenham as well. Because if you know somebody like Nilgard, whose last goal was for somebody that's played in the Danish division, they're obviously the size up in the early stages of the Europa League. So it just shows everything really about the mess Arsenal are in right now. To be honest with you, as we are entering about 3 minutes away from the conclusion of this match, 3 minutes plus stoppage time. And there's certainly no Brentford fans leaving early, that's for sure. There's a few Arsenal fans leaving early and headed for the exit, but no one in the home sections of the ground is going to be leaving early. They'll probably be staying probably long into the night as well. When the teams are back out again doing their warm down, etc., they'll probably still be there. It's them in possession now once more. It's with Jan out, and then it's on to Rico Henry now. Now down the line to Force, and chance here for Brentford now, and it's Force this time around. So he's going to whip it in. He's given away. Kieran Tierney just whacks it behind for a throw on. And Thomas Frank still vocal as always. He's had a very vocal night as the Brentford manager, and certainly paying its dividends so far. And you see a lot of the Brentford fans there going wild, waving their flags, etc. As one of their players, I think it might be Sorensen, comes over to take this throw. Going to try another long one again, because they did score from one of their last ones as well. Sorensen once more throws it in. That's better defending that time around from Arsenal. That's Nuno Tavares, and it's back by the Brentford man Sorensen to David Raya. He just hooks it clear and out of play for a Arsenal throw. Of course, you're listening to the Commentary Hub in partnership with JB Sports, JDAC Football, and Storm FM, and of course our streaming partners Melon as well, as the official man of the match has been mentioned already. Have you got your ideas for who you're going to give yours to, Rush? Should we go to you for yours now?
Yes, I've got mine now, Mike, and I'm going to give it to the second goal scorer of Brentford, Christian Norgard. I think the way he's defended tonight is from that defensive midfield role. He's defended resolutely, defended really, really well. Stopped also from attacking the back line of Brentford. Stopped him from getting shots in on goal. Good header for the goal as well. I think all-round performance was great tonight, and Christian Norgard is our player of the match, sponsored by the brilliant commentary services.
Of course, player of the match, in fact, as well. I did say man of the match there, although, player of the match is the new way that we're looking at it this season, because we're covering not just male games, we're going to be covering the ladies' female games as well. So I'll correct myself on that one, but it is into additional time now. We've got 5 minutes of that, and the Conga just tries a speculative effort there, and miles wide of the Brentford goal there. David Raya just didn't even have to move. He was comfortable there, and to see a sign there from one of the Brentford fans saying B's bold, exciting, electric and special. And in fact, earlier on, I didn't touch on this at the start as well, but there was a Brentford fan, or a selection of Brentford fans before the game, who had a banner that said you're gonna get stung by the bees tonight, and that certainly looked like it's what's going to be happening so far, isn't it, Russ? As things go into the first of the additional minutes of stoppage time.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And tonight, Brentford have really performed really, really well, really deserved this lead. And I'm going to reiterate what I said again to you early on that preview, Mike, and what I've been saying throughout this game today. Was Brentford score first at home, they're very hard to break down, and he's proven that again tonight. Fully deserve the win. And Brentford, if they continue playing like this at home and have really some good home matches this season, They might stay up even though I've put them to get relegated. They
Chance
might
here
just share a
for
bit of a
Arsenal
drop.
now, and it's with Reece Nelson into the box, Smith Rowe, and it's just no danger there. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I predicted Brentford to stay up. Personally, I think when you look at their home form when they go 1-0 up, they're very good at doubling leads or defending leads. They've got some very good players in their ranks as well. I like to look at their back line. Rayla, Janssen, Pinnock, Henry, really, really good, experienced back line for Brentford. Of course, they've got the goals of Ivan Toney, Canos I like, Norgard I like. Force is a good player. They've got plenty of talent about them, Brentford, and I think for me, there's 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 worse sides worse than them, in the division. Meaning that, I don't see Brentford going down. I think that they've got the bounce of going up via the playoffs as well, and winning this opening game on their opening day of the season. I think that's going to be more than enough about this Brentford side to stay in the division for me. Arsenal, yet again, it's going to be another season of turmoil, and this is adding to the fact that Chelsea and Man City come next to Arsenal in the next couple of fixtures. Arsenal could easily start the opening 3 games with no points at all, and then Norwich, Brighton, Norwich, Burnley. I can't remember who else it was, but there's a couple of other tricky games in there as well. Will certainly fancy their chances of playing Arsenal after this result tonight, and this performance as well to a degree, especially first half. It's Bukayo Saka now. Is he fouled there? The referee says no, he wasn't, is he? Bukayo Saka is looking over to the referee there. Michael Oliver does say no foul though. It did look like he went down a little bit easily there. Yeah, he just kicked the ground there. Bukayo Saka, not a penalty at all. No contact there for me. From the Brentford man, I think it was Sorensen, I believe.
It was Canos, and you can clearly see after he cleared the ball, it kicks the ground and falls over. No penalty there for me. And another contender who could have got our player of the match tonight, Mike. He's had an excellent game. Was Ethan Pinnock. He's done well at the back for Brentford, but I think Norgard just stood out that little bit extra for me. But he did very, very well tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're entering the final minute of additional time now. Of course, you're listening to the Commentary Hub, and this is the opening game of the Premier League season. It's Arsenal in there now with Kieran Tierney. Tries to find the ball across to, I think that was, I couldn't quite see who that was. He was trying to feed the ball through to there, but he couldn't get on the end of it anyway. Nicola Pepe, I think it was, and then Nelson now in possession. It's when you see Nicola Pepe go through the middle and you haven't mentioned his name. Martinelli had the one chance for Arsenal. Balogun had a couple of half chances. This front line for Arsenal, have shown, they've shown why people like Ian Wright in the crowd there are looking very frustrated, looking very dejected and very downbeat. And he does. He looks very miserable and he looks very. What's the word there? I don't know, not upset, but I don't know what the word is. It's the next level up from upset, I suppose. He looks quite frustrated actually in his expressions as well. It looks like Thomas Frank is going to just look at his watch for one time there, and it does look like it's going to be game called. In fact, now is it? The referee says play on for a minute, and it's now with Arsenal, and it's with Reece Nelson, but it's Rico Henry. It's gone behind off of Tavares, and that is it. That is game, set, and match. Brentford has started off the 2021-2022 season with a victory in the first London derby of the campaign, the first fixture of the campaign as well. Brentford fans, I'll say what I said earlier. You're currently sitting top of the Premier League, and there you go. There's a feeling for you. Take photos of that. Take that in your stride, because whatever happens this season, you've certainly got that to remember to say, on the 13th of August, it was an unlucky 13 for Arsenal. Not unlucky 13 for Brentford, though. They sit top of the table and have won this one by 2-0. Sergi Canos and Norgard, the 2 goal scorers. Thomas Frank delighted. Mikel Arteta, all I'm going to say, got a massive job on your hands. And the next few weeks of this transfer window, absolutely massive for the Arsenal board and the Arsenal boss as well. Back to you, JD.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Beast fans, well, Brentford fans, take this in, drink it in, look at the table now, you're top of it. Of course, Arsenal are bottom, of course. We'll talk about Arsenal. John Kane and Russ Vernon will be joining me shortly, but let me just sum up Brentford's desire and spirit tonight. They were excellent. The set pieces were a treat. I can only remember Rare making one save from Nicola Pepe during the second half. Apart from that, Arsenal really didn't offer that much. But Brentford were superb. Defensively, they looked sound. Didn't give Arsenal any into a sniff. Set plays, they were good. First, second balls, they were first almost every single time. Brentford, from the old 1 to 11, were absolutely excellent tonight. And as for Arsenal, well, I'm without words for them. Yes, they're missing Lacazette. Yes, they're missing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yes, they had Saka coming on later on. But to be honest with you, and I'll be perfectly honest, and I'm not sure too many people will disagree with me on this stream tonight, but they were toothless, spineless. Apart from one opportunity for Pepe, as I just mentioned, they didn't look a threat at all. Brentford nullified them. Defensively, on the second goal scored by Norgard, our man in the match, they were all over the shot. They could have conceded a third from a similar throw-in. It was just a complete shambles. But let's talk about Brentford's victory. John Kane and Russ Vernon are with me, I hope. Let's come to John Kane first. Are you there, John?
Good evening. Yes, I'm here.
Well, John, what a result for Brentford. A great result. And I have to take back what I said about them defensively last night. I thought they were going to concede maybe 1 or 2 tonight in my own mind. But tonight they were excellent. 1 to 11, as I just said, they were superb. And you cannot give them too much credit the way they played as a team tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, they waited 74 years to come back to top-flight football. And they've done it in style. And also, I mean, the last game they played in the top flight was against Arsenal, which is a bit coincidence. And now they came back and they've beaten Arsenal by 2-0. And it was just a superb performance. And absolutely, I mean, yesterday, a few of us actually mentioned Brentford will stay up, and some say Brentford now will go back down. And looking at the performance today and how disciplined they were, how creative they were, and the energy that they've got, and the support of the fans they have as well, it's been fantastic for Brentford. And I could not take anything away from Brentford tonight.
And what were your opinion, Andy? While Russ is getting his breath back, let's get your opinion on the second Brentford goal. On the second Brentford goal, John, because it was really, from an Arsenal viewpoint, you've got to say it was a comedy of errors. No one was there on the first or second ball, and Norgard, the man in the match, had an easy header in from 3 yards. It was just ridiculous, wasn't it?
It is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you look at it time and time again, just like the first half when the keeper could have easily saved that shot. The second half, the same. The Arsenal goalkeeper, yes, he was occupied with one of the forward players from Brentford. But, like you said, it was comical because in the end of the day, you should be having defenders in that 6-yard area when you see someone's coming in with that long throw. And straight away, you put yourself in a position that is going to be a long throw. Let's go back and stay there. And then when the ball went in, it was about 2-3 players against one Arsenal defender in that 6-yard box. It's going back to basics, JB. You know,
absolutely,
they really have to go back to basics, Arsenal. And this is a very worrying moment. Remember, yesterday in the podcast, we mentioned so many big clubs who've gone down. I'm not saying Arsenal going to go down, but but it's not just the performance today that Arsenal got the problem. They've got a big problem. They've got a problem with the board. They've got a problem with the coaches. They've got a problem with the players. And I've just got a couple of points regarding Arsenal, and it is worrying for Arsenal. If Mikel Arteta comes in today or tomorrow and he says, well, both his strikers were injured, well, he has to look at the bigger picture, and he's not dealing with it right. Because Lacazette, yes, he's 31, but he's still there. You've got Aubameyang also, he's injured, but Aubameyang hasn't been with Arsenal mentally. So really, he's got one striker, so he should be looking for another big-time striker to bring into the club. And I've always said this about Mikel Arteta, and I'll say it again. El Tata, Steve McLaren, Roy Harford, the Brian Kidd, they are all fantastic coaches. Just because
Absolutely.
they're fantastic coaches, it doesn't mean they can be good managers. There's a big difference between the two. And I think if I was a football manager, and Mikel Arteta was given to me as my coach of the club, I'll take him in a sniff. I think he's a fantastic coach, but he is one of these people who could not able to step up, and he proved it. He proved it in his tenure in Arsenal that he can coach, but he could not manage. And there's two different things
No.
that Arsenal need to look at to save the season. Even it's the first game of the season, but we've got Chelsea and Man City next. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is against Brentford, they played like this. What's going to happen against Chelsea and Man City? It's going to be 0 points from 3 games.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that he could be the first one sacked. Russ is also with us. Russ, your views? I know we've heard your views and commentaries. Now after 5 minutes, the game is sort of just down. We'll bring Mike in just a second as well. Well, a great performance. Let's first of all talk about Brentford. A terrific performance from them tonight, Russ, and we can't give them enough credit, can we? I mean, they were excellent, and they were up for it tonight, Brentford, which is something that Arsenal clearly weren't.
Yes, Brentford was superb today, JB. They wanted it more than Arsenal. They wanted it more, and well, I've got to say as well, my friend, there was they clearly showed out there that they was the team. It was like they were the team in the Premier League last season, and Arsenal had just come up from the Championship. And Brentford were in first game in the top flight in 73 years with fans inside the stadium as well to say under the lights on a Friday. What better way to get off to Brentford start? And I've got seen a tweet in here as well, JB, which is from someone called AJ, says, buzzing for the bees. What a wonderful way to play your first game in the Premier League and to win it comfortably at that. What a team and what a manager they have. I hope they finish as high as possible, as high as they possibly can. What a start to the new season. And absolutely, from an Arsenal perspective, and I'll see what Mike reckons about this as well when we fetch Mike in a second, JB. But I've
Yes,
seen one here from
this is
Jay
going to be fun.
Bernard. He says, that was poor. Manager took off Martinelli and Balogun when we needed goals. And for 35 minutes, we played without a striker. Poor. And I've got to agree that was poor from Arteta. And I've got him down to be the first manager sacked. And based on that performance, I can't see anyone saying I'm going to be wrong.
No, I don't think so either. Mike, let's bring you in. I can't believe what I mean. Brentford. Let's get your view. I mean, we've talked about Brentford. We've talked about Brentford, of course. We've talked about Brentford's performance, and it was an excellent performance tonight. But I mean, we look at the Arsenal defending on the second goal. You must have been. I mean, obviously you're commentating, but inside you must have been tearing your hair out with rage because that second goal was Keystone Cops defending. I've never seen defending like it. If Tony Adams was watching, I mean, he'd be frustrated. I think you need the Arsenal back four again. But sum up the Arsenal performance because that's fair. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'll agree with me. I think it was shocking. It didn't really raise a finger to Brentford, did they, tonight? Which was really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with that last comment about the defending as well. I thought, when you look at the second goal, there's a multitude of players there that have all, been caught out there. I think Ben White, Granit Xhaka, Pablo Marie, I don't even know, I think Kieran Tierney. I think all of them. The first goal, of course, Bernd Leno could have done better with that. Callum Chambers at fault really for the first one as well to the degree. Another one was caught out for the second. Yeah, I was seething over that. The first goal inside, I was certainly seething even more so over the second. We were just going forward. We were gutless, toothless. We had Martinelli, we had Pepe, we had Smith Rowe, we had Saka come on, we had who am I missing? I'm missing one as well. Vanagon, of course. And these are all players that know where the back of the net is, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of a little bit beyond hope for me. I think the first thing I tweeted off of my Gooner Elite page afterwards was same season. Sorry, different season, same, the rest. But yeah, and I kind of followed that on with Arteta out, Kroenke out, and Edu out. And you have to look at everybody. You have to look at them from the top, whether that's Kroenke, whether that's Edu, whether that's the manager. A lot of these players, they're playing for the manager. Not on that tonight, they're not. So what do? You've got 2 weeks of the transfer window. Kroenke has backed Mikel Arteta to a degree with certain players coming in, but nowhere near enough. Is Bellerin going to be here still in a few weeks? Is Lacazette going to be here still? Is Kolasinac still sitting there picking up a wage? Lucas Torreira is still sitting there picking up a wage at the moment. Runnelson's still sitting there picking up a wage at the moment. Like, what do you do if you're like Willian still sitting there picking up a wage? If you're Mikel Arteta, you're the Kroenkes, you're anyone on that board, Josh, Stan, Edu, whatever, Vinay, what do you do now? When because there's loads that's gone wrong at the moment with this football club, and it isn't just today. It's on the back of probably before Arsene Wenger. When Arsene Wenger left, it was all going wrong then for a while, and then
absolutely,
Emery come in for a while. It sort of changed a little bit. For some time, and then it went downhill again on the back of that Europa League defeat, and then he got sacked. Then Freddie come in for a game or two. He got relieved of his duties, and Arteta come in, and it's eighth, and FA Cup. Didn't get through in the FA Cup last season. Didn't get into any European football last season. Only got into it because of winning the FA Cup the season before, and shocking. It's beyond salvageable for Mikel Arteta at the moment for me. I think Russ asked me the question during the commentary, is it time, even now that he goes? For me, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I think we're all in consensus with that. Right, let's get an opinion. Right, one final thought from all of you. We'll start obviously with Mike. Let's eulogise over the Brentford victory, of course. I mean, what a night, Mike. I mean, sum up the Brentford performance in a few words.
Yes. They were sensational tonight. Timmerman, from the goalkeeper all the way through to the substitutes, the manager, the coaching staff, the fans, everybody played a massive, massive part in that victory for them. Remember, they were League One only 2014, 2015 as well. And they've really gone on a rapid rise since then. And of course, now sit top of the Premier League tonight. So, yeah, really good performance from them. 2 goals, clean sheet. Can't ask for any more. Thomas Frank's going to be delighted, and rightly so.
Absolutely. Same question to Russ.
Brentford superb tonight, fully deserved the win, and everyone in their Brentford shirt can be proud. Arsenal, very, very lacklustre tonight. Brentford, all better from all over the pitch this evening, and they fully deserve the win, JB.
Absolutely. And John, same question to you. You've got the last word tonight.
I thought Brentford was superb today. They played with creativity. They played with energy. They were so focused on the game. They really wanted it more. They believed in themselves, and they fully deserved the first 3 points of the season. Well done, Brentford.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Russ. And thank you, Mike, for all your hard efforts tonight. Right, just one more thing. I need to do one more job before we go, and that's to bring you all the weekend's football games for you coming up, because we've got 3 live matches tomorrow, plus we've got Tottenham Man City. So let's go in chronological order. Tomorrow, Russ will be joining you at 12, around about 12:20 tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow lunchtime, and making his commentary hub and JB Sports and everybody and all his debut all over the place really is Craig Braddock. He will be a new voice to everybody. Give Craig your support as he talks you through Manchester United against Leeds, and what a massive game at Old Trafford it is. And then we're going to do something a little bit different at around about 10 to 3 tomorrow afternoon, because we're going to be at an actual ground. Yes, we're going to be going down into the non-league scene. We're going to be live from Binfield for the Isthmian League match between Binfield and Basingstoke Town. Russ again will be hosting, and the brilliant Nicholas Jones will be live actually at the ground in Binfield to bring you full uninterrupted commentary of Binfield against Basingstoke. What again that promises to be down in the non-league. And then I'll be taking the presenting night shift if you want, or the late shift if you want, as I host Norwich City against Liverpool. Russ will be commentating on that one for you. That will be live at about 5:15, and then at around about 4:20 on Sunday, John will be commentating on his beloved Tottenham against Manchester City. So plenty of good stuff, plenty of good live football coming up in the next 48 hours or so on the Commentary Hub, JDAC Sports, JB Sports, Storm FM, Commentary Hub 2, Twitch, Twitter, and Periscope, all our partners this season. Of course, the streaming partner, of course, is sponsored by Melon. And this has been me, JB. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage tonight. Well, 73 years worth the late Brentford fans? You bet it was. The Bees sting the Gunners as Brentford beat a sorry Arsenal by 2-0. See you tomorrow. Good night.